coming. We'll keep running, nothing in our way, and we got no reason to wait. Let the journey take you where it wants to. We'll continue to find our way through anything we face. We got what it takes. Here we go. All we need is an open road and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go, with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day, it's ours to take, and we will let it in. This is where the adventure begins. Every step, writing stories that seek to be read, taking hold of the moment as we discover every color filled with wonder. Now we finally see we got everything we need. Begins.
Hi, my name is Salome Agbaroji. I'm a junior at Gar High School and a poet at Get Lit. I'm happy to perform this poem I wrote, Are We There Yet?, for today's GirlsBuild audience. Look out the window and see concrete jungles where you are deemed most dangerous beast. And when street cops turn kings top a food chain looking for a feast, these roads seem a bit more treacherous, so, Ma, are we there yet? She said zilch and doesn't flinch besides the bounce of potholes. You know treachery. You came from the jungle, but this different type of danger sits stiffly in your soul. You realize this highway is caution tape on indigenous land, a graveyard of Asian workers covered in concrete quicksand, and a tombstone for the missing girl whose search party quit last week. These roads are guilt, gluttony, and taxpayer money, and that doesn't feel right, so you ask again, Mama, are we there yet? She says nothing, and windshield wipes away the acid rain from her eyes. We have rain in the jungle, we just tuck the clouds deep within the canopy cavity of our tear ducts to stay alert for lions red for meat or for forks in the road. Look through the bars of this moving cell and see cages pass faster than time does. One group, Black Panthers from the jungle, carpooled in the center of the interstate. I don't know, some weird middle passage or something. Others on the side pulled over. Children on the outside looking in, denied access because their parents didn't have the proper driver's license. You start to develop road rage, and that doesn't feel right, so you gotta ask again. Ma, there have been bumps in the road, so are we there yet? They took Daddy through the exit 58 miles back, and we've been driving for 400 years. I'm getting car sick, so Mommy, are we there yet? Ma replies, are we where yet? Because the future is a gas bill, or the truth, or death, or a merciless God. It is a striped hyena, ruthless, evil, salivating from the mouth, waiting to pounce on any creature in its path. The future, no matter how fast we drive, it is coming. So quit running your mouth in the backseat like you got someplace to be. We take this ride and we take it cautiously. Now listen when I speak. If you see flashing lights and hear 3 beeps, halt expeditiously. Make your hands visible to not come off too threatening, and just pray that sitting in this traffic doesn't make you too tan or make the cops too hungry. Because royalty must eat. Don't make a meal of yourself. This claustrophobic caravan wasn't built for this departure. But this horn is an emancipation proclamation, a key to child cages and higher minimum wages. These headlights are a search party and tax reform. This is justice and hope. This gas pedal, a time machine to when cars have a gear that spells power, an exhaust that never tires, tires that never wear despite the miles per hour. This ride is rewriting street laws, making the freeway actually free for the first time, dethroning the kings, reclaiming our jungles just to throw cucumber seeds in the cracks. These wheels are the movement. This will, fueled by the heartbeat under the pavement, muffled by the sound of airplanes overhead, is the ignition. We drive. GPS set destination, future. Are we there yet?
Hello and welcome everyone to the 7th annual GirlsBuild 21 Virtual Summit. I am so excited to be with you here today. All of Team GirlsBuild is excited to be here with you today. We wish we could be with you in person. We miss you. Know that each and every one of us is sending you a big, giant side hug. And we want you to know that we will see you soon. But until we do, we keep on seeing you on social. So keep up that amazing good work. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge Salome for that powerful poem and that artistry that she shared with us. Just a powerful reminder of the inequities that still exist. It's also not something to be overwhelmed by, because we know that individually and more importantly collectively, when we come together as thousands of young people committed to a cause, we can be the difference makers. And that's what GirlsBuild is about. So thank you for coming together today. You're going to hear from an amazing array of speakers that are going to inspire you with their own stories and accomplishments. And they're going to be interactive. You're going to hear from some of your peers. So I can't wait for you to get fired up by the program that we have for you today. Before doing so, I have to give all my gratitude to the people that have made today possible. So bear with me as we list out the amazing partners that have come together to make it possible. You already see on our screen that for the first time ever, we were able to partner with the National Geographic Society to bring about today's theme, which is that the planet's future starts here. So thank you to the amazing National Geographic Society and to their team for providing the resources and the trainings to the girls that have activated them as protectors of our planet. And you're going to see some of their projects today, which I'm so excited and proud of you for. Thank you to Vicki Phillips and her team for that partnership. Some of our other sponsors that I want to acknowledge is the Amgen Foundation. Amgen, you've been with us year over year. You have a deep commitment to ensuring that there is an equitable pipeline of diversity coming through that STEM pipeline. Thank you for your investment in GirlsBuild. To AT&T and to Boeing, who are extremely committed year over year to the GirlsBuild program and the teams and the projects that you take on. Thank you for renewing that commitment. To Bad Robot, to JJ and Katie, thank you for your commitment to diversity in communities of color. To Panasonic Foundation and to Verizon, we know that you care about STEM and cultivating the STEM in each of the students that we work with. Thank you so much for that ongoing commitment. To Amazon and AWS, an amazing partner that is working with us year-round to connect students to amazing career exposure, especially in the tech sector. Thank you to Amazon and AWS. To the Broad Foundation, we see your commitment to STEM and diversity and to the green futures for all of us and to making certain that our students are included in that green future and part of the solution. Thank you to the Broad Foundation. To Wildcard 3 a.m., Miss Allison Temple, you're the best. To you and your team, we couldn't have been here. We couldn't have made it to this day without you. Thank you for all of your artistic capacities that you have endowed on GirlsBuild. To the Service Station Foundation, to the Bert T. Pro Foundation, to Dean and Kelly Hallett, thank you for your deep commitment to the youth of Los Angeles, to California, and all across the nation and beyond. You're going to hear more about that. A super special thank you to Microsoft and the Southern California Microsoft ambassadors for their investment, and they made today happen on their Microsoft Teams platform. Thank you for the innovation that Microsoft Teams affords to GirlsBuild. And next, I want to take a moment to thank all of the coordinators who have committed to GirlsBuild year after year. If you're joining us again, thank you for staying with us. And to all the new coordinators, thanks for signing up. We know we've had a great expansion in the number of teams participating. That means that an adult on your campus made it her priority or his priority or their priority to register and to bring GirlsBuild to you. So thank you, adults. I know how much you do every single day during the class day, and we're asking you to go above and beyond. Thank you for the amazing year and a half of work that you have endured under quarantine or working remotely or working on a hybrid basis. And I just want to extend the gratitude for continuing your commitment to amazing enrichment for your students. Our hearts go out to you. Thank you. I also want to give a giant shout out to our chair, Miss Nina Westbrook. Thank you for making today possible, for all your outreach to Megan Chernin. You know we wouldn't be here without you, Megan. Thank you for all you do. And to all of the co-chairs who committed to making today an exceptional opportunity for the students. I need to make certain that I thank my team. I want to thank Jade and I want to thank Cindy for making it possible. And there's two people you guys might recognize. If you haven't seen them yet, you're going to get to know them really well. They're your advisors, your GirlsBuild advisors. To Yasmin Mendez and Leslie Aronson, they are the women that make GirlsBuild happen every single day, all year long. Thank you to all the LAPF team. With that, I am so excited to introduce you to today's MC, Rocky Theus.
Hello, GirlsBuild. I am Rocky Theus, your MC, and I want to welcome, listen to this, more than 15,000 girls watching from over 250 schools across 12 states and Puerto Rico. How amazing is that? I wish that I could see all of your beautiful faces, but today and beyond this, you're all my new besties. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us today. So from schools like, we want to welcome you, J-STEM Academy from Texas, Walt Disney Magnet School from Illinois, and I know I can't see you, but I hope you're cheering on as you hear your name. Bright Horizons from Florida, Glendale Union High from Arizona, Southeast High from Oklahoma, Oconee High from Georgia, and the list goes on. Dayton Regional STEM Center from Ohio, Luden Slager Elementary from New Jersey, Dr. Cerulli School from New York, Franklin Middle School from Wisconsin, and last but certainly not least, Russell Westbrook Why Not Academy from Los Angeles. Everybody give yourselves a round of applause. We are ready to get started. GirlsBuild is made up of some of the most talented, promising, bold, and committed leaders in our country. We're proud of you. And we have high expectations of you. Frankly, you guys, we need you. The conference theme is The Planet's Future Starts Here. GirlsBuild believes that empowering students, strengthening families, and building communities is the surest way of securing sustainability, diversity, and equitable futures. Your projects have proven this. Projects like, again, get ready to scream when you hear your project, refillable water stations were installed at James A. Garfield and John Wooden High. This will save use of thousands of plastic water bottles, right? Trash cleanups were created across many GirlsBuild teams. Girls Soar did so in conjunction with other community organizations and their mayor to address illegal dumping in their deserts in Lancaster, California. Incredible. Many GirlsBuild teams advocated for recycling bins on their campuses and educated their peers. Teams like GirlsBuild Boyle Heights took on this initiative. And next, projects that emphasize the importance of eliminating the use of single-use plastics, such as Making Her Story, GirlsBuild team, who combined their passions for the themes challenge, of course, and partnered with local animal shelters, that's unique, to help them use sustainable products while helping pets get adopted. Our program today includes, are you ready for this? Special messages from U.S. Senator Alex Padilla from California, Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the water god himself, Jason Momoa, and friends from National Geographic Society and Microsoft, mixed in with a few surprises and special guests, of course. So today, we're talking sustainability, diversity, and equity, and emotional health, which is extremely important. We're here to learn from each other though, right? So I guess I should tell you a little bit about myself. I am a broadcast journalist, like a news anchor, right? Specifically the host of Las Vegas Now, the entertainment and lifestyle show of CBS Las Vegas. As you can see, I'm in my show's green room right now. So when you visit Vegas with your fam, you gotta turn on channel 8 at 3 p.m. and you might catch me on TV there. So if you've never been to Vegas, it's one of the entertainment capitals of the world. So we get to talk about that. Also, on top of that, we get to highlight the positive things happening in our community. I truly love what I do. I'm telling stories, spreading awareness, making people smile for a living. And it took a whole lot of hard work, staying true to my authentic self, and it factor to get here. So what is it factor? Now, some would associate that with how you look or how you dress or how popular you are. That ain't it factor. True it factor, write this down, is how you'll get, and this is how you'll get from your chair you're sitting in right now to the career of your dreams through my experience. It's how you lead. It's how you treat other people. It's your gratitude and positive perspective that you keep. And it's knowing that it is not about you, right? It's about serving the greater purpose, much like what the GirlsBuild Foundation teaches you. So guess what? You, each and every one of you, more than 15,000 girls across the nation and in Puerto Rico, already have it factor early. Some people don't learn that or find that within themselves till late in their adulthood. So that is powerful and something to be proud of. So with that said, my it girls, if I was going to name our girl band, our girl group, it would be called the It Girls. It is time to show some GirlsBuild spirit. I can't hear you, but I hope that you're screaming right now. I know most of you are in school, so ask your teacher. I don't want you to get in trouble on my behalf. If it's okay to snap a selfie and some group shots and post them on social media. Grab your phones and be sure, listen to this, to hit the GirlsBuild pose, okay? AKA the Rosie the Riveter pose, where we show our power. So on the count of 3, I want you to hit the pose. You know what it is. You know the iconic photo. 1, 2, 3. Pose like they're screenshotting you. Come on. Hope you're taking your pictures. Got it? All right, we want to see yours. So use @girls_build and @LA Promise Fund and #GirlsBuild21. And I don't know, you could hashtag #itgirl too if you want. And we will share that on our social media. And we cannot wait to see you guys in your power, girl power, I should say, pose. All right? So up next, it is my honor to introduce LA City Council President, Nuri Martinez.
Hello, GirlsBuild 2021 Summit. I'm so glad to be back with you this year, speaking to women who believe that girls can build communities, innovative solutions, and our future. My name is Nuri Martinez, the president of the Los Angeles City Council. The theme of this year's meeting is The Planet's Future Starts Here, because we are all responsible for making changes in our community that will leave it better than we found it. And this is something that I've been passionate about for a very long time. Before becoming a city councilwoman, I was the executive director of Pacoima Beautiful, a community-based organization dedicated to environmental justice issues in the Northeast San Fernando Valley. After I was elected to the city council, I served as the chair of the Environmental, Climate Change, and Environmental Justice Committee. I am proud to say that in 2019, I worked with my colleagues to push a Green New Deal agenda that focused first and foremost on low-income communities of color that historically have suffered from polluted air, water, and land more than any affluent communities. This is why Girls Build is so important to me, because I know what girls can do when we set our minds to something. I can't wait to hear all about your work during the summit today. Lend your voices, your passion, your talents, and your leadership to this incredibly important fight. As the first Latina City Council President and the daughter of immigrants, I am an example of what you can achieve if you work hard and put your mind to it. When I was younger, there wasn't anyone that looked like me in positions of power. I knew that I wanted to make a difference in my neighborhood, and I found a path to do so. Every one of you has the potential to leave a positive imprint on the world. I hope that you are equally inspired by the speakers today and leave this summit ready to do your part to make a more sustainable future, recognizing that your potential as a leader is limitless. And now I'm excited to throw a little fun your way with DJ Livia, who has made a name for herself as a 14-year-old DJ in a field dominated by men. Let's celebrate girls' empowerment and enjoy your day.
Hello, everybody. What's up, guys? I'm DJ Olivia, and I'm from Chicago. I've seen girls our age all across the country do big things. What you do at Girls Build really inspires, because I'm reminded I'm part of an organization who will help save our planet. I believe that the planet's future starts here. Let's go, guys.
DJ Olivia.
Better ask somebody.
DJ Olivia.
Better ask somebody.
When I wake up, I can't even stay up. I slept through the day, but I'm not getting younger. But when I'm older, I'll be so much stronger. I'll stay up for longer. Meet me at a spot. Got a boy, baby, are you coming for the ride? I just wanna look into your eyes. I just wanna stay for the night. Goodbye, maybe we can hit the 4-5. Hypnotized by the light. Man, this must be the Lord. When I go to sleep, I can't even fall asleep. Something's got a hold of me. Feel it taking over me. But when I'm older, I'll be moving onward. I just got a drunk text. Meet me at the spot. Yeah, bye-bye. Baby, are you coming for the ride? When I look into your eyes, I just wanna hold you all night. Maybe we can take a drive. Maybe we can hit the 4-5. Hypnotized by the light. Man, it's my love.
Better ask somebody.
DJ Olivia.
Better ask somebody. Better ask somebody.
I'm losing my self-control. Yeah, you stop. But I don't wanna fall down the rabbit hole. Cause my heart I will beat again. I take myself from myself, tell myself all the night. Not do I do, but once in a while I trip up and across the line. And I think of you. 2 years and just like that. My head still takes me back. Thought it was done, but it's never really over. Oh, we were such a mess. Thought wasn't it the best. Thought it was done, but it's never really over. Because it's over, doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe I'll be coming over again. And I'll have to get over you all over again. To get over, maybe I'll be coming over again. And I'll have to get over you all over again. Just because it's over doesn't mean it's really over. And if I think it over, maybe I'll be coming over again. And I'll have to get over you all over again.
Better ask somebody.
Hey guys, are you having fun? I feel like DJ Livia should be our next Vegas headliner, right? The youngest Vegas headliner ever. All right, so Girls Build is proof that creativity and commitment needed to defend our planet is right here. From planting gardens in East LA to helping the homeless in Little Rock, Arkansas, Girls Build teams are making an impact all across the country. And their work wouldn't be possible without the year-round support of AT&T, the National Geographic Society, and Boeing. So let's get to know some of these teams and projects, shall we? Again, I want to hear you scream from all the way in Vegas when you hear your project, okay? The Mindful Gardeners from East LA, California. PLP, Girls Gin from Palmdale, California. Girls Soar from Lancaster, California. The Poderosas from Sylmar, California. Stemmed from the Heart, beautiful name, from Boyle Heights, California. The Change Agents, strong, from Compton, California. The Software Sisters from Flint Ridge, California. Shattering the Glass Ceiling from Medford, New York. Childers Middle School from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Helping the Homeless from Little Rock, Arkansas. Girls Build, Hood Girls on the Rise, okay, Chicago, Illinois. Making Her Story from Converse, Texas. Thank you to all of these teams for your hard work and your brilliant team names, by the way. The tens of thousands of hours you poured into your community will continue to make a beautiful difference. So let's go back now to LA Promise Fund CEO and President, speaking of making a difference, Veronica Melvin.
Wow, it is so great to see our teams in action. You guys have been working hard since August. I know some of you never stopped all summer long. Thank you for all your amazing work. You're building a better community. You're building a better school. You're building better leadership for yourselves that's going to pay off for the rest of your lives. Speaking of amazing leadership, ladies, we are so lucky to have the next speaker. I am delighted to talk about our next speaker. Some people consider her to be one of the most powerful women in Washington, D.C. Others say that she is one of the most powerful women across the globe. Ladies, in 2007, she was the first woman elected to be the Speaker of the House. And get this, one time wasn't enough. She did it again in 2019, the first person ever to do so in 60 years. She is a mother, she is a grandmother, she is committed to many of the things that we care about, like education and climate change. And most importantly, she's committed to cultivating the next generation of future leaders. Girls Build is honored and privileged to have the next speaker inspire each of you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the Speaker of the U.S. House, Nancy Pelosi.
Hello. As House Speaker, it is my privilege to bring greetings from the United States Congress to all of the young women across the country participating in this year's Girls Build Virtual Summit. I want to congratulate and thank my friend Megan Chernin for her vision. And thank you to Veronica Melvin of the LA Promise Fund and the entire Girls Build team for your commitment to empowering and inspiring our next generation of leaders. I'd also like to commend the extraordinary young women who participated in this year's Girls Build Challenge. Over the last year, you have tackled the most existential crisis of our time, the climate crisis. This is timely. This month, world leaders, including President Joe Biden, have been in Scotland charting the future of climate action. And working with the White House and inspired by young people like you, Congress has made protecting and preserving our planet one of our top priorities. Proudly, young people have been at the forefront, marching and mobilizing for a healthier, more sustainable planet and a brighter, fairer future for all. And with your knowledge, talent, and entrepreneurial spirit, I am confident they are well equipped to lead this movement for decades to come. I believe that there is nothing more wholesome than the full participation of women in our communities and in our politics. In the face of the climate crisis and so many other challenges of our time, the world needs more young women leaders like you. Each of you has a unique ability to create change and make a difference. So my advice to you is know your power. Thank you again for your commitment to building a better world, and best wishes for a productive summit. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It is so great to be with you all. My name is Alexia. I'm 22 years old, part Greek, part Samoan, tuning in all the way from New Zealand to be with you all. And I am just so excited for us to get into our first panel of the day. The future is green. Isn't that just so inspiring? Because we are the future and the future is green, and we are going to be exploring all around the environment today and how we as incredible young women can step up and create change in this space. So I am joined by two professional eco warriors. They are incredible women who are doing their personal endeavor to go out there and make a difference in the environment. So I'd like to first start by introducing the one, the only Dawn James. Now, Dawn, she is the Microsoft's US Director of Sustainability and Environmental Sciences. We also have the wonderful Michelle Zhu joining us today, and she's the CEO and co-founder of Hue, which is a biotechnology and biofashion company, which is pretty incredible. So let's get straight into it. Dawn, can you just share a little bit about yourself and what led you to working at Microsoft?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. I'm extremely excited to be here to talk to you today. And yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm the Director of Sustainability and Environmental Sciences at Microsoft. And really what I do is, what I like to think of is I'm a dot connector. So the beginning of my career, I started out as a geoscientist. I've been in the industry for 25 years within natural resources. And I have a very unique perspective perspective on industry and technology. So at Microsoft, I lead our sustainability strategy for the US. And I help Microsoft to really understand what our customers and what our partners across various industries really need as far as a conversation and also the digital enablement of their sustainability journey.
That is truly incredible, and we are so excited to learn more from you today. And then Michelle, can you tell us a little bit more about you and what led you to do the incredible work that you do today?
Of course, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. So I am the CEO and co-founder of a company called Hue. Started with my co-founder and friend and chief scientific officer, Tammy, who was the inventor of this technology when she was at Berkeley. And the focus of our company is really to create cleaner sources of dyes and pigments for the many industries that are shaping the future of the planet, but most notably starting with clothes and specifically the jeans that we all wear. I started all of this. My background is in business management, strategy, and operations. And my first career out of college was being a strategy consultant, where I got a really kind of broad business application background. But what really inspired me to start this company and help my co-founder commercialize the research that she was working on was that my family was actually in the fashion industry growing up. And I grew up in LA. There, my parents started their own suite of apparel brands that was doing very traditional kind of fashion, a fashion business. And that was where, honestly, I came to be acquainted, unfortunately, with a lot of the sustainability challenges in the fashion industry, and saw some of the impacts of the space and denim manufacturing specifically firsthand. And so when I learned about my friend Tammy's unique approach using biotechnology to clean up the fashion industry, I just felt so inspired, and it felt so full circle to bring my business background and her scientific knowledge and invention to come together to create Hue.
I absolutely love that, and such an inspiring story around, if you're passionate about an area and you see a problem, why not merge those together and really go out there and make a difference? So thank you so much to you both for sharing your stories with us. So the first question is for the wonderful Dawn, and that is, you are very multi-talented and you've got lots of different passions, including being a trained violinist, which is pretty incredible. And I'm sure there's lots of music lovers tuning in today. So what role has art played in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I think at the onside, you know, I consider myself an artist, regardless if I'm playing music or I'm writing. I also write as a pastime, creative writing and science fiction. So I consider myself an artist. And one of the things, learning music very early, it really helped me with my math and pattern recognition. Right. So one of the things that I like to think that I'm good at as a systems leader at Microsoft is recognizing external and internal patterns. That also served me very well in a world of geosciences, right, where we look at Earth systems and we look across patterns over many, many millions of years of the Earth's history. And we recognize patterns in the past to dictate or understand our present. You know, so when we start thinking about sustainability and climate change, this is an Earth systems problem. It's an Earth systems challenge. And being a systems leader and having a background in not only Earth systems, but then also business organizational systems. And this was something that I learned a little bit later in my career, But that initial training that I got in music, and I'll throw it back to that, right? Because that was something that stays in my brain as an artist, for recognizing and pulling out patterns and understanding how things that have a certain synchronicity, right? And how to apply those patterns in new and different ways. So for myself, I've made a pretty drastic career pivot, I guess we'll call it, right? So I've been a scientist, an individual contributing scientist most all of my career, and I pivoted to solutions sales, to a solutions sales and professional world, where what I do is recognize business patterns, business organizational patterns, and I'm able to map those to different types of Earth system solutions, right? And we do that with technology. So it's a really cool role, but it also quite literally takes every part of who I am, from who I was as a child, being very curious, to what I learned over time as far as systems and pattern recognition, academics as well as science, but then also really getting good at understanding people, right? Because that's where everything starts and where it ends. It starts with the people, right? We're here on the planet, and we need to learn how to curtail and to change behaviors so that we can be here for the long run.
Absolutely. And I just love how you didn't let yourself be put into a box. And every single young woman out there listening now, realize that you can be an artist, you can be a scientist, you can be a coder, a businesswoman, and you can actually do all of that. So don't ever let anyone tell you that you can only ever be one thing. And someone who really embodies that so well is you, Michelle. You've got a real big passion for fashion and passion for design, and also really combining that with your passion for social change in the environment. Can you just explore a little bit more for us around that connection and how that plays out for you?
Oh, sure. Well, that I do love that point, and I want to emphasize, for me, when I finally came around to founding Hue, the story felt so full circle and in coming back to a lot of those elements of my past. But I do want to just say for everybody listening here, our stories, our journeys are not linear. And I think what's most important above all else is just following your passions, following the things that you're excited about. And that's really how you're going to go out and make change. So definitely want to emphasize that. To talk a little bit more maybe about some of the challenges that we're tackling here at Hue, and specifically that connection to fashion and the environment, because I imagine that that's something, I've grown up as, from when I was a little girl, always loving clothes and fashion, separate from just my parents being in the industry. But I do think that it takes a little bit more exploration and research to realize what a big impact the clothes that we wear has on the planet and climate change and some of these big challenges that we're tackling as a society today. Fashion is actually one of the most polluting industries out there. It's been documented to, various stats between kind of contributing to about 10% of greenhouse gas emissions, 20% of global industrial water pollution, particularly from the textile dyeing step of the process. And the problem is honestly really wide ranging. And so there are, and I say that as hopefully a call to opportunity for all of us here. But there's just so many pieces that need to be fixed, from the kind of raw materials that are made from cheap petroleum sources and toxic chemicals used in the production process, through to just the enormous amount of clothes that end up in landfill due to the prevalence of fast fashion. And all of that comes, I think, and has been magnified over the decades from this consumption-based culture that's really been focused on, quantity over quality, and has incentivized some of these kind of systematic practices around kind of sacrificing quality and care for the sake of cost. And so those are some of the sort of key high-level challenges that that we're focused on as a company. But I will say that I think the good news is there are a growing number of technologies out there that really have come about to tackle some of these challenges in fashion, from advanced farming for natural materials, new recycling technologies for increasing circularity in the supply chain, new machinery to reduce water and energy use, and then, of course, green chemistry and biology to reduce the reliance on fossil fuels and toxic chemicals in the supply chain. So that last piece is what we at Hue are specifically focused on.
That is so incredible to hear, and I love that core to opportunity and how we as young women can really consciously think around what we consume. So over to you, Dawn. You are an incredible woman who is absolutely breaking barriers and shattering glass ceilings in your role at Microsoft. Can you tell us a little bit more about the work that you do at Microsoft and how businesses can take a real leadership role in protecting the environment?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned a little bit in the beginning, I'm in charge of our sustainability commercial strategy for all of the US. So what that means is that I work across thousands of US companies that are headquartered in the US, but a lot of them are multinational global companies. So I work across the globe, looking at a number of different sustainability challenges that face our prioritized industries. So what that means is different challenges in the energy sector, challenges in healthcare, transportation, the financial sector, anything that you can think of, including fashion, of course, right? There is some type of data or digital solution to help accelerate our transformation towards a more sustainable world, right? So that's what I do. I help Microsoft internally to better understand the industries and how to apply not only our own portfolio, but then to help our customers learn from our own sustainability journey. So one of the things that Microsoft has done is that we're really focused on people first, the planet, and also utilizing the idea of profits to change and curtail behavior, so that then not only are our company as a large organization on the planet that also has its own footprint, is moving in the direction towards a net negative or a zero carbon world, from an energy perspective and from a scope 1, 2, and 3 perspective.
That is fantastic. And what an incredible point to finish on today around that call to opportunity and how we as a generation can be the ones to push forth and go for that goal of net zero. So a big thank you to our wonderful panelists. I am just so inspired. Those key messages around we do not need to be put into a box, and we can actually be the ones to go out there and create the change that we want to see. We do not need to wait for permission from others. We can be the ones to create change right here, right now. So absolutely brilliant. A big thank you to our panelists. And now we're going straight back to the wonderful Veronica Melvin.
I am thrilled to introduce our next speaker, who has an amazing passion for our topic today of climate change and protecting the sea. And I'm also thrilled that he is taking time out of his incredibly busy schedule to talk to you about it. He is an accomplished eco-activist. For goodness sakes, he is presented at the United Nations, and he wants to share that passion with each of you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all of Girls Build, I am thrilled to welcome our next speaker, the man of the sea, Jason Momoa. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you for having me. Hey, Veronica.
Oh, it's our pleasure. You kidding me? Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Where are you?
I just finished work. I'm in London, finishing up Aquaman 2, and so I just got out of that.
Oh, wow. What a sneak peek.
Which looks, there you go, a little sneak peek.
Oh my goodness.
That's what
awesome. Impressive.
Yeah, so I'm in London. We're finishing Aquaman 2, and so I just got out, and I'm excited to talk to everyone. And thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks. We're delighted that you're with us. I'm so excited to have you share your inspiration in terms of your passion for the sea with the girls. I'd love for you just to talk about where that originates from.
You know, really from a young age. I grew up in Iowa with my mother, and I spent my summers with my father in Hawaii. I was born in Hawaii. And I think because I was in both of those worlds, I really got to see firsthand those two very different worlds. And my passion for the ocean comes, definitely comes from, having that Hawaiian connection. And, but also just when I was in school in Iowa, I grew up in a very small town, and I was on it started at a very young age, just wanting to recycle and wanting to help Mother Earth. And I was really interested in sciences. That was what I excelled at. And I wanted to become a marine biologist. And so I feel like I did a lot of environmental studies, and that was just where my passion stemmed from. And I had just a big interest in the rainforest and global warming. And so, yeah, it just kicked off from a young age, and it's just something that resonated with me. And what's great about it is I was a biology major, and I was going to school for that. And then, my travels and traveling around the world ended up randomly getting me into acting. So I never set out to do this job. I always had that environmental wanting to help the earth and finding a path somewhere there. And I went to school for that. So it's cool now being Aquaman. It gets to come full circle and exercise and put my voice to so many things that I care about those, since I was a kid. And that's been the biggest honor. I'm sorry, I'm going to ramble. I'm not very good at it. It's going to go off course all over the place. So
you are making every science teacher's heart flutter talking about your passion for science in the early ages. And I want you to know a secret of one of the viewers with us today is Kamehameha High School. So
I'm coming home soon. I'll be there, and hopefully within 2 weeks. I'm so excited. I'm very happy Kamehameha Schools is on. I love you, Hawaii. I'm coming home. I have not been in the U.S. in almost 2 years. I think it's solid year and a half. So excited to come home.
Oh, I know that they will welcome you. They're thrilled to be on. And thank you, Kamehameha High School, for joining Girls Build this year. We're thrilled to have Hawaii representing.
Yeah.
I would love for you to talk about, I know that we've talked a little bit in the past and we shared the model of Girls Build. Just wondering what you think about the power of the model that we have of girls identifying a challenge in their community and then working together to find a solution. What is the benefit of that?
What's the benefit of having one? I mean, this is a beautiful community that you can learn, and we can gather knowledge and see and identify that in our own communities, and then make a change. I feel like a lot of the things that have inspired me are from friends and from digging in further with environmental causes and finding out more, and then seeing that in my own community and wanting to make a change and being the representative of, that could be happening all over the world, but the things that we learn about. I jumped on and someone was talking about fast fashion, and I thought that was really interesting. And I'm trying to make things at the same time that are more meaningful, use longer. And so just hearing that, it just sparks so many things that makes you go down the rabbit hole of wanting to learn more about certain different topics. So I think this is wonderful, and being able to come together and then shoot that out into our own communities and the ones that we love, and make a better world, because it starts that way. It's all in our hands to do it.
Yeah. And you have a vegan-based clothing line, right?
Yes, there's things that we're working towards where technology is catching up, and also we're trying to catch up and how we can make it. But, I've always wanted to, obviously I've been trying to fight plastic pollution that's the main topic. I've been really, there's so many things, but I want to pick one, focus on it, and really immerse myself into it, and then to the next and to the next. And so my idea was to really take there's so many sandals and flip-flops, and being able to make something that was made out of algae, a seaweed that we can it was compostable, and not have all those rubber sandals and plastic in our ocean. And so there's just little things that can want to make a difference, and making our shoes out of hemp coming up, and totally making it 100% just like compostable.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And I know that matters to you because of the state of the seas. Can you share a little bit of information? I'm going to make you pull out some of your bio education credentials and talk about what is the state of our seas.
Well, our seas are going to reflect on what's going on in our world, because this world is so precious, and everything in it is so precious, and we're very lucky, and we've abused it. And I just feel that it's so connected. It's so very important that, it's not just this, what's happening all over is obviously going to affect the seas. I know a lot of these beautiful young women know about what, obviously with the rising tide and the global warming, but just when that happens, the weather patterns and the storms that are hitting our islands and attacking, all over the world, just these massive storms happening it's constantly where we're getting rid of, that the ice caps is going to affect us so much. So it gets scary in my, to wanting to do our best, and it really has to happen now. And I just believe that this is so beautiful to be a part of something like this, so that we can, it's an honor to even be able to talk to you guys about, the things that are dear to me, and obviously that are dear to you, and how you can teach me, and you're the next generation that I feel is going to have such an impact, and is so important in the things that we do right now. It's for your generation. So,
Jason, can you talk about that single-use challenge that I've heard something about, and what you might want to tell the girls to do?
Yeah, the single-use plastic, the challenge that I'm going to be doing?
Yes, I'd love to hear about it. They want to hear about it.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay, let's talk. No, I want to do, I live such a single-use everything lifestyle, where I'm on a plane and there's this, and there's a hotel and it's this, and I try to do my best. And when I go around the world, I just see that there's not a lot of options, and you really have to be strict, and you really have to make an effort to try to live that single-use, like to get rid of the single-use plastics in our life. And so I'm going to do, I want to do a 30-day challenge, and just to kind of like be present and vigilant and be on it, so that we can try to really cut back on that in our own everyday life and the waste that we use. So in a nutshell, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And so I want to challenge it, and I'll I want my life to be out there and showing the things that are in it, and you'd be surprised how much it's everywhere. And so I really want to see what you're doing, see what I'm doing, and that's how we can, help each other find solutions too.
Yeah. So we're challenging all of you GirlsBuild to take on the single-use challenge to finding alternatives to single-use plastics. So please figure out how we can reduce single-use plastics in our lives. Like Jason said, it's everywhere, and he wants to see you in action. So please take videos, take photos, post them at GirlsBuild. Jason, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram on Pride of Gypsies. Pride of Gypsies.
All right. So we want to make certain that all of you are activated and then challenge your friends, families, and neighbors as well. So thank you so much. And Jason, we have had a number of questions come in from the girls, many of which you've already addressed, but there's one looming question out there. They want to know how you keep your hair looking so good. You always look like you come straight from the beach. What's the tip for all of us?
How do I? My hair is it's its own animal. How do I keep it looking like this? You know what? I don't do much. Is the secret. I don't do much. There's a lot of conditioner. There's a lot of conditioner and coconut oil is great too. I do use some coconut oil in my hair from time to time.
All right. You know, every GirlsBuild, we have one little segment that talks about hair, and coconut comes up as a solution every time. So it's good to know that you believe in it too.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Jason, so much. We are so honored to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Oh, we have a video, Jason. I'm just hearing that we have a video of some of the girls in action already taking on your single-use challenge. Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's watch. That's all. Yeah.
Wow, thanks everyone for responding so quick. Jason, do you want to sign us off?
I do. Thank you everyone for having me. Thank you. I think it's just wonderful that I got to be a part of this for a second. And to your teachers and to you, all my aloha and love. And I thank you for including me. And I look forward to the next. And let us grow together and do our best to change this world. I love you. Aloha.
Hello, welcome back. This is Rocky Theus again with a number 2 panel. This is Culture for the Win. FTW stands for the Win. A conversation highlighting the importance of celebrating our culture, our history, and everything that makes us unique. So I want to thank our special guest. I am joined by author and activist Julissa Arce. Wave to everybody. Hello. And actress and advocate Merle Dandridge. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, of course. This is such an important question. So Merle, let's start with you. Would you mind just sharing your story of self, your sense of self, that journey that we're all taking on in life?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for offering that first because I really think that our own personal narrative is a great entry point into like our purpose on this planet and what we're supposed to be doing. And, you know, I grew up mostly in very homogenous Nebraska and, you know, with summers in Memphis visiting my dad's family and recently getting to know my family in Korea that I'm just learning about. But over the years, I've wrestled a lot with my Blackness and my Asianness in those spaces. So I have come to the conclusion that because I have this dual culture, that I am a bridge. And I think that we all have the opportunity to offer our unique lens, to look at our humanity, to teach, you know, enlighten, really. So I feel very privileged to share my story, and I encourage all of you to get on the train and really talk about, you know, who you are, where you're from, what you're about. So basically, my father he was born in the segregated South in 1942, and he joined the service in the 60s, right as the civil rights movement was ramping up, and he left Memphis to serve his country in the back of the bus. On the other side of that, my mother is a Korean woman, and she was born during Japan's occupation of Korea. So she was born with a Japanese name, the language, the culture, and even today, even though she's culturally, well, ethnically Korean, she identifies a lot as Japanese, which is very interesting. So my father was her second marriage. So she came to the States with 3 Korean children. I have these incredible half siblings who didn't know the language. And now 2 of them are like very well-established doctors, really unbelievable people. My mother went through nursing school again. If you can only imagine passing OChem with it being your second language, like that's the kind of gangster stuff my family's doing. And my dad, he didn't go to college until he could afford it with the military assistance well into his military career. And then he retired as a top-ranking NCO. So all that to say that I grew up in a homogenous environment during the 80s, and we really stuck out, like really stuck out. And but nobody in my family talked about their struggles, but I got a front row seat to their hard work, and in that time, their assimilation. And it served them in that time. I learned work hard, be strong, blend in. And in that time, again, it served me then. But then there came a time when it really did not. So I think the journey of my story is coming to celebrating your uniqueness, your culture, taking pride in your story, and knowing that those are some key ingredients to lasting happiness, personally, professionally, and that we need your story so that we can create empathy, understanding, and we can ultimately move toward equity and inclusivity because our stories matter.
Wow.
That's basically me.
Wow. What I love about that is our families are just so beautiful and complex. But Julissa, we'll get to you right in a second. But I have one more question, because you mentioned you realized that assimilating did not actually benefit you. What was that moment when you realized that?
The moment that I realized that, I think it was an ongoing thing, because in Nebraska, it wasn't really celebrated, anything that was different or new or anything like that. But as soon as I stepped out of that, went to school in Chicago, and then, got onto Broadway for a good, 12 years, that I found that what makes me, and that really began in my art, when I found my art, that it was necessary to exercise that voice, to just say something and do something and meaningful with it, because it has power. Your words have power, your work, your art, everything that you put out in the work has power. And it did not serve me being small. And that was a journey for me to get to that.
Ooh, but such a powerful message. Thank you for sharing that, Merle. So let's move over now to Julissa. Can you please share your same story, your sense of self?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So I came to the US from Mexico when I was 11 years old. And, I think like a lot of immigrants, when we first come to the US, we don't speak English, we don't know the culture. And there is this really big pressure to assimilate. I mean, the whole topic of my next book, You Sound Like a White Girl, The Case for Rejecting Assimilation, is about sort of exactly that, rejecting the idea that we have to change who we are in order to fit in order to belong. I wish that I had learned that sooner in my life, even from things like, my full name is Julissa Natseli Arce Aviles. And Natseli is a gift my parents gave me. Natseli means what I most love in Nahuatl. And for the longest time, I stopped using my middle name because it was too hard for people to pronounce. And instead of correcting people, instead of getting them to say my name, I stopped using it completely for many, many years. And until I realized that it truly is, our names are gifts from our parents. And many times we reject those gifts and go by a more quote unquote Americanized name. And that's something that I've had to learn over time. But, I was also undocumented, which to me added a whole nother level, a whole nother layer of being alien, of not belonging in this place, because I literally was not allowed to be in this place because I lacked a piece of paper. And that was a very scary time in my life. I remained undocumented for, for over a decade. And one question people ask me often is, well, why didn't you fix your status? Why didn't you change? Like, why didn't you apply? And I think that's a really big myth and a really big misconception, because the truth is that a line doesn't exist, which is why so many people remain undocumented. Today I am an American citizen. I have written 3 books. I had a successful career on Wall Street for a decade before I became a writer. And all of those things are possible to do. But again, the one thing that I wish that I had remembered throughout all those years is that who I am is already enough. And who you are is more than enough. And you don't need to change yourself. You don't need to assimilate in order to belong, because frankly, I think that that's just like a little carrot that is put in front of us so that we leave behind all the things that make us unique. And ultimately, we don't actually find a sense of belonging. I think where we find a sense of belonging, where I have found a sense of belonging, is in my community, in learning the history of my people in this country, of really understanding that we belong here, and not because of something that we do or something that we change, but because we do.
Wow. Julissa, we have over 15,000 young girls watching this from across the country, from Puerto Rico. So listening to that has to be so powerful. I know some of you out there are relating to this story. So what would you say is the most powerful part of your story? Something that these girls and boys can take on after this summit and hold dear to them and teach their peers about after this?
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that the girls from Puerto Rico might relate to is a whole like assimilating part, right? But they're U.S. citizens. Like Puerto Ricans are born with U.S. citizenship, so they're not immigrants. And that's something that I think I really like to emphasize, which is that not all Latinos are immigrants. Like I am an immigrant. I was born in Mexico, but Latinos have been in this country since before it was called the United States. Mexicans have been in this country. So, but to answer your question about what is most important, I don't know really what. I mean, I know what people think is the most important thing about my life, which is, the story of me having worked on Wall Street, and I became a vice president when I was 24 years old at Goldman Sachs, which is one of the most important financial institutions in the world, while I was still undocumented. And certainly that's an important part of my life. But I think to me, what has been the most important part of my life is that I've never given up. I have faced really incredible challenges in my life, from being undocumented to, my dad passing away before I could see him back in Mexico. Really incredible challenges, and even then, I've never given up, and I've never let any of those challenges take away my ability to feel joy. Because I think that the most important thing for us to remember, especially for women of color, for girls of color, is that as much as we get beat down, like we still have this incredible ability to dance and to sing and to laugh and to experience incredible joy. And to me, that's the most important part of my story, is that throughout it all, I've been able to smile, and I've been able to find love and friendship and community.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you, Julissa, for sharing that. Thank you so much. Merle, let's move over to you now. You know, how do questions of diversity, culture, and inclusion present themselves in your work as an actress, as an activist?
Well, you know, there are some spaces where just your existing is an act of resistance. You know,
Can you say that one more time, please?
Oh, did I skip out?
No, I just want to hear it again.
There are some spaces where your existing is an act of resistance.
There it is. Thank you. I hope you guys heard that and wrote that down.
Yeah, because as I found that as representation begins to increase, I don't think it's where it needs to be, but it's definitely better than it was, that there are a lot of spaces that you walk into and there are people writing for you that don't know about your experience. And with this big push of showrunners of color, writers of color getting their work out there into the zeitgeist so that people can actually see it, then there's a different conversation that can happen with that. But what part of the struggle, the push and pull in some of those rooms where that is not the case, is that you almost have to be the lawyer, you have to be, you know, on the front line, like, and you have to fight for your story. You have to fight for those things to be elucidated in a way that is good for your people, you know? Like, I gotta be out here and represent. Yeah. And I'm not gonna be out here, you know, doing something that I feel is, well, you get what I'm saying. Yeah. That the difference is vast, and it's also important that we continue to push having people who know about our stories write about them, and also that that representation just continues to increase. I think that's what I want to say.
Perfect. And Julie says, Merle mentioned fighting for your story, and you are an author. So how have you fought for your stories to be published?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the publishing world, very much like Hollywood, is a very white industry, right? Something like 80% of people who work in publishing are white. And so what that means and what that translates into is that stories that are told by people of color for people of color don't always get published, or don't always get the marketing dollars to promote the books, et cetera, et cetera. And so a lot of the work that I do is not just to tell our stories, but to make sure that we are centered in the stories. Because I think too many times people want to use our stories to change the hearts and minds of other people, for other people to see us as human. Our narrative. Yeah. Yes, and I think that work is important, but I think what's even more important than that is to use our stories to empower us, to use our stories to change the narrative of how we see ourselves. Because I think that as dangerous as it is to see stereotypes on TV because of how other people might associate our communities, I think even more dangerous than that is what we start to believe about ourselves. Right? So in a lot of my books, what you'll find is that the people who are really centered in the story is us. I don't translate any of the words that I use in Spanish because there are plenty of words that I don't know in English that I Google. And so I think people can do the same. I don't italicize Spanish words because they're not exotic. And so that's how I really try to stay grounded in why our work is important, and to also open doors for other writers, so that, you know, when my books do well, we can show the publishing industry that other Latino writers will also sell a lot of books and that they are commercially successful pieces of work.
And last question here, Merle, how can these young girls and boys use social media to further this message?
Man, I am grateful for social media for so many things like representation, information, being able to share ideas, just hearing people who look like you can search it out. I also find that there's an element of self-care in using social media because, you know, I can't imagine growing up with it as, you know, being just such a daily part of your life. So making sure that you are exercising the use of the information that you get from it and also the interaction that you have on it, you know, knowing that talking to people through, you know, some kind of portal doesn't necessarily mean that they really know inherently who you are. You know, having a sense of that, coming to it with a full sense of self, but looking at it in a positive way. What can I get? What can I see? How can I have vision moving forward for what I can accomplish? And that is the most, one of the most beautiful things that I believe social media can offer you. Vision.
Vision. That is the perfect way to end this panel, with vision moving forward. Thank you so much, Merle and Julissa. How can people get in touch with you, follow you on social media really quick?
I'm on Insta, Twitter, and Facebook as Merle Dandridge, all one word.
What about you, Julissa?
Yeah, same, at Julissa Arce.
Perfect. Thank you, ladies, so much. Vision, everybody, moving forward. Thank you. All right, I know your notebooks are full of so much insight. I'm so happy you guys are here to learn with us. So next up, it's time to start moving. You guys have been sitting and listening. It's time to start dancing, okay? At 13 years old, DJ Livia has performed with Jay-Z, P. Diddy, and is the official DJ of the Kardashian family, okay? She's been on Ellen, and now she is here with you. So give it up one more time. Start dancing, everybody, for DJ Livia. Go ahead, girl.
Hello, everybody. All right, girls, it's time to get up and start moving. We cannot sit still all day. You know, movement is good for our bodies. So all the ladies, all the girls, let's get up and move. I want to give a huge shout out to all the students out there. I see you guys. Make sure y'all follow my Instagram right here, and I will make sure to follow all you guys back. So all my ladies, all my girls, let's move.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business.
Better ask somebody.
Mama, please don't worry about me. 'Cause I'm about to let my heart speak. Friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. So let's get down to business.
I saw you dancing in a crowded room. You look so happy when I'm not with you. But then you saw me, caught you by surprise. A single teardrop falling from your eyes.
DJ Livia.
Better ask somebody. Better ask somebody.
DJ Olivia.
Better ask somebody.
DJ Olivia.
Better ask somebody.
Thank you. That was so amazing. Thank you, DJ Olivia, for bringing so much positive energy into this space. Hi, everyone. My name is Nina Westbrook, and I'm pleased to be the host of today's panel, A Healthy Mindset. We're going to be chatting about the importance of prioritizing your mental and emotional well-being. But before we get into all that good stuff, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I grew up in Southern California, where I attended UCLA. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and the founder of Bene by Nina, a wellness lifestyle brand providing mental and emotional wellness resources. And I also work alongside my NBA superstar husband, Russell Westbrook, building our Why Not Foundation. Phew, that's a lot to say. And as you can see, there's always a lot going on, which brings me to my next point, which is the importance of a healthy mindset. This means that maintaining healthy boundaries and loving yourself first, flaws and all, and choosing how to find and focus on the good or the positive, and learn and grow from the challenges you will certainly overcome. I know that I'm speaking with an ambitious group of young ladies who are doing incredible work in their communities. So I'm really excited to get into all the reasons why it's so important for each of you to nurture your own mental and emotional wellness so that you can continue to give back to others in your communities and around the world. Without further ado, let's meet today's panelists. First, my friend, Jamie Grace. I've been following Jamie Grace for some time now, and I love her energy. We became quick friends when I slid into her DMs. Jamie Grace is a musician, a messenger from Atlanta, Georgia, who loves to spread positivity in her music and messages. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
Hi. And then Mignon Barnes is a senior from Hamilton High School and part of the GirlsBuild team called Her Temple. Mignon's team's projects focus around female sex education and safety to promote mental well-being, resources, and advocacy for female students to feel confident to talk about these topics, which is so important. And
last but not least is Nancy Chavez, a junior from Compton Early College High School and part of the Girls Build team called Change Agents. Nancy's team's projects have focused around environmental sustainability and mental health and wellness with the launch of their own podcast. Thank you for joining us today for this Healthy Mindset panel. Let's just dive right into this. So, Jamie Grace, it is so good to see you again. What I love about you, besides your calming, soothing voice, is how you use your music and your Instagram to uplift people, which is really rare these days. This is so powerful, especially for someone that started influencing at such a young age. What is your motivation and what does music mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, music means everything to me. I take it so seriously, and I also don't take myself seriously at all. But I'm like ever since I was 7 or 8 years old, I would turn on like some vinyl, like some old gospel vinyl or something like that, and just like lay on the floor and listen to it like I was a 97-year-old, like trying to remember the good old days. And I just have always like, I would literally at like 8 years old, I would be like, do you hear the cello? Do you hear it? Because I was just so like fascinated by how certain sounds can make you physically feel calm, and the way a bass drum can kick can like actually get you moving. Like even when like DJ Olivia was playing, like I'm old, I don't know that song, but I was like, yeah, because it's just, I mean, music moves you, you know? And so I take it very serious. Like, again, I don't take myself seriously. Like, I know I'm a goofball / old lady, but I take like my motivation very seriously. And like, I try to really invest positive music in my life, and really intentional music in my life. Even like right here in the back, I was listening to it last night, and my husband was like, "Are you listening to Mr. Rogers?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." Because when I'm tired at night, I like to listen to the Mr. Rogers theme song because he's saying that it's a beautiful day, even when I'm saying I'm tired and I want to be asleep. And so I'm really inspired by Mr. Rogers. I'm really inspired by country music, hip hop, soul. And I just like to be really intentional about the style, but also the message of music that I allow into my own life so that it puts me in a really good mood. But also when I'm ready to cry and be emotional and sappy, I do allow myself to listen to songs like that as well.
I love that, actually. It's so nice to know that as a musician, you also turn to music for energy and inspiration.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing those talents of yours with us. And now I would love to hear from Mignon and Nancy. I know you two are on Instagram, and Nancy, I know you're a social media manager for your Girls Build team. How have you two learned to use Instagram as a place to share positive messaging to your schools, just as Jamie Grace has done through her music?
I feel like Instagram can be really helpful in finding organizations and companies to help my cause and my team's cause. And it's easy to reach out to other girls, not just the girls in our community or just the girls in our school.
For my team, our Instagram and our GirlsBuild TikTok, we used it to spread positive messages. And I actually helped my team build our first ever podcast where we discuss topics on mental wellness and mental health. And I feel so lucky to have been a part of that at this age. And I'm so proud of my team for having accomplished everything.
That is amazing. And you should be very proud because you guys have been able to find a way to reach a broader audience and connect with people even during a pandemic. So that's amazing. Kudos to you guys. Jamie Grace, you've been very open about your own personal journey and challenges with anxiety, so much so that you wrote an amazing book about it.
Oh, thank you.
Can you drop some of that knowledge about your journey and your experience and some of the tools or lessons you learned along the way to overcome a lot of these challenges?
Yeah. So yeah, as you mentioned, I have anxiety. When I was 11, my formal diagnosis is Tourette syndrome, anxiety, OCD, and ADHD. And I'm almost 30, if that gives any context to, I'll be 30 in like 2 weeks. If that gives any context to like how long I've kind of been like battling those things. And it's been a lifelong battle, and it's still an everyday thing. Tourette syndrome is a tic disorder, and I love doing calls like this because I seem kind of chill or neurotypical, but like my feet are literally dancing and you'll never know, except I just told you. And a lot of it was a lot of like becoming like who I am now, and even like what I wrote about in the book, Finding Quiet, has really come down to accepting the fact that sometimes I'm anxious, and accepting the fact that that's not always my fault, and not that there are times where we should blame ourselves. Sometimes though, like if we're staying up all night watching Netflix and just like cranking caffeine, like, yeah, you're probably going to be anxious for like 2 days, and like, we may have had something to do with that. But for the most part, like my anxiety is not my fault. And just accepting like that freedom helped so much with just what I thought about myself. I, am able to see myself as like a human that is flawed, but is okay with being flawed. And there's also so much beauty to me as well, as opposed to like a human that must be fixed because I'm terrible. That's so untrue and irrational to think that. So that was one of the first things, is just like acceptance of just like who I am, and like I'm different. That's okay. But at the same time, we're all going through a thing. And then two, like just learning how to, I kind of mentioned this earlier, but just being so intentional with what I put in my life and what I put out into the world. It's really easy for me to develop very heavy opinions about everything that's happening in the world. Like I have opinions on a lot of stuff. But my Instagram is mostly full of bright colors and happy sounds, because I realize that that's what me and my anxiety need to be like allowing in on a regular basis and pouring out on a regular basis. And like I said, there's a time and a place for everything. So if I'm sitting with my sister or my best friend, I might be like, look, we need to talk, Like I have friends that are in politics, and so I'm really glad that they use their platforms to talk about other things. But I feel so like confident in the woman that I am, and I like the human that I am, because a lot of it is because I've learned to accept, like, yo, the way my anxiety is set up, I might not be able to do what everybody else does. I might not be able to be like everybody else. Like I used to live in LA and I loved it until I realized the way my anxiety is set up, I'm gonna be trying to go to every event all week and I'm gonna be tired. And so we live in Arizona and it is boring here, but I'm at peace. So it's just learning like to accept what makes me me, and then making those adjustments and changes in my own life, and being okay with that, whatever that means.
Okay. I absolutely love everything that you just said. I feel as though having that openness that you talked about and that acceptance, it's like you have to unconditionally love and accept yourself for who you are,
Yeah.
and know that there's nothing that it's just your journey. It's just
Yeah.
what you're in, the space that you're in. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm sure that so many people can relate to that, because I personally can relate to that as well.
Mm.
And I want to move on to a question for Mignon. This question the question is, how do you and your friends talk about and think about mental health?
I think a lot, like with this generation currently, it's easier to think and talk about mental health openly compared to other generations, like how even today, we have Jamie being able to talk about her mental health in a way that's not stigmatized or taboo. And that's kind of what my Girls Build team wants to recognize and sort of help other girls in our generation become comfortable in an area where most of them aren't comfortable.
Thank you for sharing that. You are very impressive at such a young age to make those connections. And I would agree. Like, I would say that it is totally becoming more open. Everyone is becoming a little bit more open about talking about these issues, because what we're finding, and I think what everyone is realizing, is that we're all in this together. And then everybody's got their thing. Everybody's going through something. And so the more that we are open and able to talk about it, the more comfort we can feel, like as a group, like as a unit, for using Kevin Hart references today. And so thank you so much for sharing that, Mignon. So Nancy, how do you think that the pandemic has how has it been managing your mental health? And do you feel like it's made it a little bit more challenging, and how have you responded to that?
So I'm usually more of an outgoing person. So when this pandemic hit, everything changed because we had to stay at home and do online school. I was honestly struggling because I never imagined myself doing school virtually because I'm so used to like collaborating with others in person. So the pandemic and doing school online was really hard and challenging for me and my mental health.
Wow. Well, I definitely want to thank everybody, but before we get out of here, I just wanted to share a little bit more about being maintaining a healthy mindset, and a lot about what Jamie Grace was saying earlier. I think it's all about being adaptable. Like, you have so many monumental moments coming up, all of you, as you transition into young adulthood. This means that you can control the things that you can control and be open and flexible with all the things you can't. With that said, it's up to you to put forth the time, the energy, and the effort to achieve those goals that you set out to achieve, because at the end of the day, you will be able to be proud of and happy with yourself for all the hard work and preparation that has gone into you growing into the amazing young women that you are going to be, and that no one can take that away from you. So you will be able to have the confidence that you gain and take from preparation, and put your best foot forward no matter what direction life takes you. And just before we head out of here, I want you guys to let everyone know where we can find you. Jamie Grace.
Yeah, I think I might be like the only Jamie Grace with purple hair on Instagram. So you can find me at Jamie Grace, and I make daily videos on YouTube, and I'm just Jamie Grace.
How about you, Nancy and Mignon?
You can find us on change.agents on Instagram.
And you can find us at h.e.r.temple. A lot of periods.
Her with a lot of periods, Temple on Instagram. And I just want to thank you, ladies, again for taking the time to chat with me. I hope that, I'm wishing you all the best in all of your future endeavors. And next up, we have a special wellness moment from our friends at Kaiser Permanente.
Hello and good morning. My name is Maya Painter, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. And I'm so honored to be here today representing Kaiser Permanente in support of the GirlsBuild Summit, which is pretty unique. So, as one girl to another, hello and welcome. We've all been impacted by the effects of the pandemic, haven't we? And there probably isn't a person among us that hasn't been touched by it in some way, both physically and emotionally. Tension, stress, pressure, and anxiety, none of those things can allow for the free flow of communication, transformation, and definitely not creativity. Not where we want to be, is it? So how do we get to where we want to be? How do we drive out the unwanted feelings? Well, there are many ways to do so. Curiously, though, one of the ways can be as easy as breathing in and out. Let me lead you into it, okay? Are you ready? Let's go. So, I want us to start by settling into your body using your breath and bringing the air into your body with either your nose or your mouth. And as your chest and body expand, which they will, relax into your chair. Feel your back upright and supported. Inhale and exhale. And as you gently close your eyes, bring your presence to your lower belly. Imagine an ocean in there, a whole ocean with fish swimming, corals swaying, a water wonderland. Keep breathing. And what else do you see? Move your attention now to your heart center. And there, imagine a garden, blooming flowers, butterflies, and a gentle breeze. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, what else do you see? Move your attention up to the center of your head now and imagine there is a still lake with crystal blue water, sky, and big puffy white clouds. Let it rain down on you. Let the rain flow from the top of your head through your lake mind and into your heart garden and down to your ocean belly. The rain has left now and been replaced by sunlight. Watch the clouds change. They remind us that everything changes without needing them to be a certain way. We can't change a cloud or even know what will come next, but we can watch it and be curious. Now, can you take a deep, deep breath? And now exhale. There you go. So thank you so much for allowing me to share this exercise with you. And I do hope you enjoyed this mindful moment, and please enjoy the rest of your summit. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce a longtime friend of mine. He's a fellow champion of the environment, immigrant communities, female empowerment, and so much more. As the first Latina president of the Los Angeles City Council, I am proud to introduce our next speaker. He was the youngest president of the Los Angeles City Council, and he will join us here today for his third GirlsBuild appearance. Please join me in welcoming my good friend, U.S. Senator Alex Padilla.
Hi, I'm Senator Alex Padilla, and I have the honor of representing California in the United States Senate. I'm so excited to join you all for the 2021 GirlsBuild Summit. Now, I grew up in California as a proud son of immigrants from Mexico. My parents came to the United States with little formal education, but a tremendous work ethic and big dreams. For 40 years, my mom worked cleaning houses, and my dad worked as a short order cook. It was hard work, but honest work. And together, they raised my sister, my brother, and me in the proud working class community of Pacoima, California, teaching us the values of service to others and the importance of getting a good education. Now, our neighborhood had its share of challenges, including environmental justice, but we had a strong sense of community. My mom would volunteer us for community cleanups and other neighborhood service projects. And I'll be honest, when I was your age, electoral politics was the last thing I imagined I'd be doing. My teachers encouraged my interest in math and science, and I went on to earn a degree in mechanical engineering from MIT. But my plans changed when I returned home after college and found my community facing intense political challenges. I entered public service to make sure that families like mine and communities like mine were represented at the tables where important decisions are made. I ran in my first election for the Los Angeles City Council when I was just 26 years old. And today, I'm honored to represent all of California in the United States Senate. But I'm inspired to see that so many of you are taking it upon yourselves to learn more about our political system and becoming active participants in our democracy. One of the most important issues we're facing today is protecting our planet's future. The climate crisis is already a reality for families in California as we face historic wildfires, deadly heat waves, and extreme droughts. So I'm looking forward to your questions on this critical topic.
Hello, Mr. Padilla. My name is Catherine Ramirez, and I'm a part of the Change Agents GirlsBuild team from Compton. My question for you would be, what causes climate change?
Thank you for that question. The science is clear. Human activities are the main contributors to climate change, which primarily stems from the burning of fossil fuels. Our dependence on fossil fuels and harmful deforestation has rapidly increased the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which causes a cycle of global warming. In more than 1,000 centuries, that's 100,000 years, the Earth has never experienced a decade as hot as the last 10 years.
Hello, Senator Padilla. My name is Rocio Rivera, and I'm part of Girls Soar, a GirlsBuild team from Lancaster, California. My question for you would be, how is climate change affecting animals?
That's a great question. Climate change has disrupted countless habitats and species in the ocean and on land. Many animals and plants will be forced to adapt to more extreme conditions or face extinction. In California, extreme heat has led to higher water temperatures, which is devastating endangered fish who rely on cold water habitats to survive. That's just one example. We're in the middle of a biodiversity crisis as well, and the continued extinction of species that could destabilize our planet and upend entire ecosystems that humans depend on. We need to take action now to protect our planet for all its inhabitants.
Hello, Senator Padilla. My name is Leilani, and I'm part of JSTEM's Making History GirlsBuild team from Converse, Texas. My question for you would be, what can I do to protect the environment? Thank you, Mr. Padilla, for joining us today and for answering my question.
I'm so glad you asked that. Climate change is a systemic problem, so we need to confront it together. Now, the best thing you can do to help is to be an advocate in your community. Make sure that everyone you know is registered to vote, and let your representatives know that you care about taking climate action. You can also spend more time learning about the nature closest to you and how it is or isn't being protected. This planet is all of ours, and we all need to be good stewards of it. As for me, as your U.S. Senator, I'm working to support clean energy technologies and modern transportation infrastructure to end our use of fossil fuels. I'm also advocating for funding to address the dangers that we face today, like wildfires and severe drought. And I'm prioritizing the permanent protection of our public lands and biodiversity for children and for future generations. I'm thankful for the chance to be able to speak with you today, and I hope that you'll keep sharing the knowledge that you've gained. Your voices and your stories can make a difference. So thank you for your commitment and enjoy the rest of today's discussions.
We are so thrilled that you joined us today. We hope you are inspired to do your part to protect the planet's future. This summit is just the beginning. The work starts now. It doesn't take much to get involved. You can start in your own community by talking to your school about forming a GirlsBuild team. Make a difference by joining the year-long GirlsBuild Challenge. Applications are now open. Join the National Geographic Society's Gen Geo community to connect with other young people who care about the environment and climate change. Use your voice to speak up for the planet. See something at your school that could be done more sustainably? Say something. Take steps to live your life in a more environmentally friendly way. Think of what a huge difference it can make if millions of people do simple things like taking shorter showers, turning off lights when they leave the room, and choose reusable products instead of disposable ones. Be one of those millions. Through actions big and small, you have the power to build sustainable communities. The planet needs you. As you walk away from your computers, think about one thing you can do each day to be a planet advocate, and then do it.
Wow. I wish we could do this all day, right? But thank you to our GirlsBuild student leaders and the teachers, the staff, the administrators who all made this event possible. It has been so much fun. Thank you to our panelists, our guests, and our keynote speakers. And of course, thank you to our sponsors. We couldn't do this without you. To my besties, my it girls, I am so proud of all of you and boys in the crowd as well. You can follow me at Rocky Theus, follow at girls_build to, keep this energy going. You can post your power pose, accept the Jason Momoa Reducing Single-Use Plastics Challenge, and keep it all going and stay connected because the future starts here. Keep shining your light on the world. And DJ Livia, keep spreading those good vibes, girl. I want to see you here in Vegas headlining a show, okay? Take it away, girlfriend.
All right, let's do this. I want to give a huge shout out to GirlsBuild 21. Thank you so much for having me. Shout out to Veronica. Thank you so much again, guys. Let's have some fun.
DJ Livia.
Better ask somebody. Better ask somebody.
Passing every red light. I know I'm in over my head. A rebel that I don't hide. Remember all the words that you said. Even if the love was hurting, I'll be yours. I'll be yours again. I can feel that fire's burning. Give me more. So tell me, would you feel my love?
She makes DJs practice.
So tell me, would you feel my love?
She makes DJs practice.
Yeah, I can never leave 'cause I need it. I feel it. Let me feel your love.
She makes DJs practice.
DJ Livia.
Better ask somebody.
I've been trying to call. I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through withdrawals. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. Since it is cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch.
Better ask somebody.
I'm drowning in the night. Oh, I'm like this, you don't want my trust. I say, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I say, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you don't want my trust. I'm running out of time. Guess I can see the sun light up the sky. So I hit the road in overdrive. Maybe. Oh, the city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can see clearly when you're gone. I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said,
DJ Olivia.
Better ask somebody.
She makes DJs practice. She makes DJs practice. She makes DJs practice. She makes DJs practice.